Now to a story we've been following for weeks. Family members, employees, and residents at a Lake County nursing home have all been contacting News 5 all month, worried about the handling of COVID-19 at Heartland of Willoughby.
Now, while the state is not releasing the number of COVID-19 deaths inside nursing homes, the latest report shows at least 75 residents have tested positive for the virus there, along with 29 staff members.
And tonight, News 5's Emily Hamilton is asking the governor for answers.
It's been 45 seconds here. So this is his room number. It is the buyer's choice as to where we place our family members. And there's no way of getting appropriate information to make an educated decision.
Buyer's choice turned buyer's remorse.
Minute and 38.
Worried for her loved one's safety.
Please remain on the line. We'll be with you momentarily.
This Wycliffe woman does not want to be identified, but says she struggled for weeks to get any information from staff at Heartland of Willoughby.
What his condition was, what was happening with him, how he was responding.
After her cousin tested positive for COVID-19
2 minutes, 20 seconds.
while living at the facility.
But once the doors were shut, we had no way of knowing what was really going on with our loved one there.
She's just one
3 minutes.
of more than a dozen people who have contacted News 5, including other relatives, staff members, and even current residents,
And we'll be with you shortly.
who say communication at the nursing home is failing.
You shouldn't have to take this to the governor to get some attention from the nursing home regarding the issues at the nursing home.
But we did. This was Governor Mike DeWine's response last week.
Let me get the full report. We'll be back on Thursday, specifically to answer your question about that nursing home and what happened and maybe what didn't happen.
This week, a spokesperson for the governor says the Ohio Department of Health investigated a complaint at Heartland of Willoughby earlier this month, and it was determined that the facility was in compliance with federal and state regulations at that time, but that future complaints will be appropriately investigated.
So that's part of the dilemma. Luckily, I'm retired and I get to sit here all day and do this, but it's maddening.
This woman says she'll continue to hold and fight for answers regarding her cousin's care,
5 minutes, 20 seconds.
but says she's not satisfied and is calling for state intervention at Heartland of Willoughby.
It's a dreaded thing to think about end of life and how difficult that end of life can be for people. The family has guilt for putting them there in the first place, and then helplessness because there's nothing you can do.
A spokesperson for Heartland of Willoughby tells us the facility is working to ensure that a manager is always on call to take calls from relatives of residents here. Reporting in Willoughby, Emily Hamilton, News 5.